Hi, beautiful people. This video is about building high-functioning teams. I'm assuming at this point that you are a team leader, or you've been asked to lead a team, or you're aspiring to lead a team, and you are looking to build a team. If you are inheriting an existing team, you're going to put the team through a lot of this same assessment or same evaluation. So I encourage you to watch this video either way. I want to help you learn how to be able to move from aspiration to action when it comes to building a high-functioning team so that you can do it intentionally, systematically, and sustainably. And the reason for that is we all aspire to be on high-functioning teams because we know they're more fun, they're more interesting, you learn more, you get more done, you win more awards, hopefully you get more bonuses, you're more likely to get promoted. But how do we actually understand what a high-functioning team is, and how do we recognize them? And then how do we turn around and build them ourselves? So if you're tired of working on dysfunctional teams, and we've all been there, this is a good place to start in terms of beginning to build this level of understanding of what are the real capabilities of a high-functioning team. It's also a great way to start thinking about how do you build this into your own DNA and into the DNA of your team so that this is a consistent practice for you for the entirety of your career. Because if you can learn how to be the catalyst for high-functioning teams, you build a reputation for yourself for doing that, then you will absolutely go far, because everybody knows, in every organization knows, that the teams that are high functioning produce amazing results, and the teams that are dysfunctional are absolute train wrecks when it comes to people leaving the company, when it comes to results not getting delivered, when it comes to HR violations, when it comes to all of the issues associated with people not trusting with each other and really struggling to work together. I'm going to introduce you to the 5 things that a high-functioning team does consistently, and I also want to let you know that you don't really need a new tool. What you really need is you need a new language. Now, you can have tools to support that new language, but making the shift from thinking that this is a tool solution to understanding it's a language solution is absolutely critical part of understanding this. So Execution by Design is a white paper that I've written, which is really a blueprint for building high-functioning teams. And I will give you a link to that and show you how to get a hold of that later on at the end of this video. I want to help you also understand how to understand what coordination overhead is. So Clay Shirky, who was with a university in New York, a professor there, did some amazing work in the late 80s, I think it was, looking at what he refers to as coordination overhead. And coordination overhead is the futzing around that we do when we are not aligned with each other and we don't really know what it is that we are doing together, and we don't have any practices for doing that orchestration, that dance together. We're standing on each other's toes all the time. We're bumping into each other. We don't have a clear understanding of how to be able to do that beautifully choreographed dance together. So when you think about building the practice of a high-functioning team and understanding what is the language of a high-functioning team and what are the practices of high-functioning teams, think about it in terms of you're the orchestrator or the choreographer of a team of people, and you want them to be able to do that dance really well together. So there are 5 particular capacities that I've seen high-functioning teams have over time, and that I've helped high-functioning teams build for themselves, because that's part of what I do for my work. But what I've seen is that there are 5 capacities. One is they design, make, and maintain explicit agreements. So many times within teams, there's lots of assumptions around who's doing what and why we're doing what we're doing. And what happens is we tend to strip the context out of the work that we're doing. And in doing that, we actually dumb people down. We make them less intelligent and less capable. And what happens with that is we're setting them up for failure rather than setting them up for success. So if you want to set people up for success, one of the most important things that you can do is that you can spend more time on building the explicit agreements, on having the conversations and teaching people how to be able to have those conversations where they can actually do a level of co-design and co-invention together. In the absence of that, what people tend to do is they rush into delivery, and the delivery is going to be bungled because the design and the understanding didn't exist in the first place. The second thing is people build practices for executional awareness. So I've sat in with many teams as I've prepared to work with them or as I've started working with them. And what I've seen is that we have such a commitment to get things right, and we have such a commitment to understand what right is, that we really miss the opportunity to be able to deeply listen to the other person and to be able to negotiate with them or co-invent with them, to where we can actually get a shared understanding of what it is that we're doing together. Many times we'll be in such a hurry to get through the meeting and make sure we hit all the action points that we'll actually miss the opportunity to be able to get agreement from the other person that the direction that we're headed in is a direction that works for both of us and that we are aligned on what it is that we're doing. And that happens consistently over time. It erodes the coordination capability of the team. And without executional awareness, people don't even necessarily see that. The third thing is really highly successful, high-functioning teams embed coordination practices in their daily work. So if you're building shared language around how to do that beautiful orchestration so we're not bumping into each other and stepping on each other's toes, what you're also doing is you're making sure that you are doing the micro level of execution awareness, so the program and project management, but with coordination built into it, not the way it's currently done. And you're also doing it at the micro level where we're doing those handshakes with each other and we're building agreements and clarity and alignment and understanding in every conversation that we're having. The fourth thing is that they normalize repair and design. So we design for optimal outcomes. And when we design for optimal outcomes and we expect optimal outcomes, which is wonderful, it's an important thing to expect optimal outcomes. But the reality is maybe 50% of the time we get the outcomes that we're looking for. And the other 50% of the time we have to go and fix something, repair something, improve something, coordinate better, have a difficult conversation. We need to do something that allows us to be able to close that loop with another human being or with another team or resolve some cross-functional friction or breakdown. And in the absence of having a team that has the ability to be able to normalize repair and redesign, we end up with those being kind of pushed under the carpet, and 50% of our capacity goes with them. It's a huge amount of waste in teams. The other thing that highly functioning teams have is that they have shared language, shared standards, and they understand the importance of building trust with each other. So I was sitting in a meeting last week and a team lead was looking at a new program that he wanted to roll out to his team, and the team had a significant amount of pushback, and his focus was on getting the work done, understandably. So it meant that the pushback, which looked just like pushback, like disagreement, which I instead heard like, I don't understand that. I don't think that we're doing this effectively. I think this is going to impact my workflows. I think this is going to impact my customer internally within the company, who is not necessarily a boss. It was actually another functional head. And what I saw was those breakdowns, that's going to produce a lot of breakdowns down the road, because now you've got someone who's dissatisfied with the new program that's being rolled out or the new structure that's being rolled out. They didn't feel heard necessarily in the meeting. They sort of lobbed something over the wall in terms of trying to get something resolved, but they didn't really come with a clear resolution of it. And we're going to roll quickly into the execution of a new framework and a new structure without necessarily having the design, the shared understanding, the shared language, the shared standards, and the trust built into that before we start actually doing the delivery part of the work. So shared language, standards, and trust are absolutely critically important if we're to be able to improve the quality of the execution that we are doing over time and build execution capability within our teams. As you start building high-functioning teams, really encourage you to look at this as a framework for understanding how you can begin to seed this into your team as you build your team. You can begin to recognize the individuals who have some capability in this and bring them onto your team and put them in positions where they understand what it is that they're doing, and you're building shared language with those people, and that proliferates throughout the team. As you start doing this, I have a white paper that I think will help you, which is called Execution by Design. It talks about the intentionality of doing this design work when you are looking to build high functioning teams. There's a link to it down below in the comments. It's also on the free resources on my website, which is www.jenniferkenny.com/execution. Hopefully that helps you. I'm doing a number of other videos in this series, and I wish you the very best of luck with it, because anyone who's worked on a high functioning team has so much appreciation for the leader who was able to have the vision to build something that they could really contribute on, deliver real value, and enjoy the work that they were doing. So very best of luck, and let me know how I can help you. Take care.